All right, guys, I'm popping in about to make some lasagna soup. These are all of my ingredients. Okay, so basically you make the meat sauce very similar to how you make traditional spaghetti. So you brown your meat. I'm using some ground chuck and some sweet Italian sausage. I wanted just the traditional, but that's all they had. Then I have my pasta sauce here that I'm going to be using. Some diced tomatoes. I got some seasoned blend because I don't have any fresh peppers and onions. Some heavy whipping cream, lasagna noodles, some cheese, and some ricotta cheese. So I'm going to go ahead and get my meat sauce cooked up, and then I'm going to pick y'all back up shortly. All right, after I got my meat all browned up and drained, I seasoned it with some Italian seasoning. So I'm going to go in with my tomato sauce. Of course, you can use whatever tomato sauce you like. I'm using 2 cans of tomato sauce. And I'm using 1 can of diced tomatoes. And I'm just going to stir this up. And I forgot to mention one other thing when I was telling you what my ingredients was. I forgot to mention 1 container, 32-ounce container of beef broth. You gotta have that liquid if you're gonna call this a soup, right? I've made this on 2 other occasions and I love it. I was telling somebody, like, this recipe is so good. It's like a decomposed version of lasagna. I don't have to have lasagna the other way at all if I can have this for the rest of my days. It's just that good. So you add in your sauce, your beef broth, and I'm going to bring this back up. Of course, the temperature has went down a little bit, so I'm going to bring it back up to a boil. Once it comes back up to a boil, I'm going to go in and add in, or not even necessarily a complete boil, a simmer. I'm going to go in and add my lasagna noodles. Now, the lasagna noodles I'm adding in, they are just straight raw lasagna noodles. I'm going to take pieces of the noodle and break it up and put it inside the broth. And the broth is what's going to soften and cook the noodles. I've seen some people take their lasagna and cook it prior to putting it in. But I've done it this way both times that I've made this, and it's came out great. So I'm going to do it this way today while I'm showing you this recipe. So I'm going to let this come to a simmer, and I'll bring you back on when I add the pasta. Okay, while my pot is coming to a boil, I started to break my noodles up. So basically you take the raw noodle and just pop it like that to break it into pieces. Basically, you want to break it into bite-sized pieces. Just like that. It don't have to be perfect. Break it up into small pieces. If some of them are larger than others, that's okay. And you break as many, it depends on how much sauce that you're making is how many you break up. I'm gonna probably break up about 2 more. And by then, my sauce should be where it needs to be. Normally when I'm doing this, I just break it up right into the pot. But for showing purposes, I'm doing it here so I can show you all what I'm doing. Just breaking it into small pieces. And I'm going to throw it right into the sauce. Now what I'm going to do, since my sauce has come back up to temperature, almost to a simmer, I'm going to add in some shredded cheese. This is some Colby Jack finely shredded cheese. Because what is lasagna without cheese, right? It's not lasagna. So you got to make it cheesy. We'll get this stirred in. I know you probably seen I had heavy cream and wanted to know when that's going to come into play. After my noodles soften up, I'm going to go in at the end and pour in some heavy whipping cream. You can also, at this point, taste it. Of course, you want to make sure the flavor is there. I taste mine off camera and the flavor was pretty good. I just added in some Italian seasoning, and then what else I use? Some of my salt, pepper, and garlic Kinder's blend. This right here. But it's smelling delicious already. This dish can be done in a crock pot as well. I love a good one-pot meal. Love a good one-pot meal. Okay, now that my pot has come to a simmer, I'm going to go and add in my lasagna noodles. And I'm just going to stir this up and cover it until my noodles soften. I'll be able to give you a time once I come back and check it of how long mine cooked. Okay, so I'll pick y'all back up shortly. Okay, I figured I'd go ahead and make my cheese mixture while I have the while the pasta is cooking. So you just take some ricotta cheese, some Parmesan cheese, a little parsley, or you can add some Italian seasoning if you like. And I'm going to take it and put it here, and it's going to be the cheese mixture that you kind of dollop. And I'm doing enough that way we'll have for later. This is going to be the cheese mixture that you mix in, or just kind of dollop in the center of your lasagna. And this is just that white cheese component. Oh, my parsley isn't open. This is the wrong one. Matter of fact, let me just do some Italian seasoning, just for a little added flavor. So I'm gonna go in with some Italian seasoning. So I just put parsley, ricotta cheese, and Italian seasoning in here, and you just combine it. That's all you do, is mix it up. Okay, so this is what it looks like. This is the cheese mixture. I mix Parmesan cheese, Italian seasoning, and ricotta cheese. And what this is just to dollop in the center of your lasagna soup when it's done. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put this on chill in the fridge. Okay, I wanted to show you what it looked like. It has been about 8 minutes, and I like to stir occasionally because this has a tendency to stick. So I like to stir it up so it won't stick to the bottom of my pot. And I also have my lid on with a little gap in it. I don't have it all the way covered. So I try to not to burn it by just stirring it probably about every so many minutes. So this isn't one that I like to leave and walk away too far from. Just the FYI. So I just wanted to tell you all that tip, to try to stir it every so many minutes. That way it won't stick and burn to the bottom of your pot, okay? So I'm gonna pick y'all back up once it's done. Alrighty, good people. It's been about 25 minutes since I first initially put in my pasta. So I'm going to sorry, I had to get a towel because this top is normally hot. But it's been about 25 minutes since I initially started my pasta. I've stirred it every so many minutes. I actually cooked mine a little bit low and slow because I was doing something else, didn't have time to stand over the stove. So yeah, let's see what we're looking like. Let's see, let's see. Smelling good, smelling good. So this is what it looks like. I can't really say the amount of time you need to cook your pasta. Let's just say until it's tender to your liking, because I cook mine a little bit slower than normal. So if you had your pot all the way up to a boil, of course it would cook a little quicker than mine did. Oh, I did add a bay leaf in there. Added a bay leaf in there just for a little extra flavor. But at this point, I'm going to go in and add in my heavy cream. And that's really it. Now what I'm going to have to do is come back and show y'all when I plate it up, because I'm not going to eat this on tonight. This is just me preparing dinner for the next couple of days. So I'm not eating this, or we're not eating this for dinner tonight. So I just wanted to show you all how I prepared it since I was cooking anyway. So yeah, this is how I make my lasagna soup. This, along with that dollop of ricotta cheese mixture, so good. So I'm gonna go in with some heavy cream. How much did I put in? Probably about a half cup, I would say, if I had to estimate. Y'all know I don't measure, honey. I just go with the soul. And this is just going to make it even more creamier and richer by using that heavy cream. You know what? I'm going to need just a little bit more. Okay. I oftentimes use heavy cream in my traditional meat sauce just to zhuzh it up a little bit if I want to switch things up. But yeah, this is pretty much it, y'all. Taste it, make sure your flavor is good. And that's it, that's all.